Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a little bit heavier of a video. If you saw the title, you're probably like, what's going on? But I just wanted to kind of sit down and make it super formal and talk to you guys like you're my friends, because that's what I do. To be completely honest with you, I was very hesitant to do this video. I almost didn't do it. I've been struggling with it, but the more we research and the more that we go and see doctors and talk to people and get other opinions, like this is just an option I think is necessary. So um, if you saw from the title, my hubby needs a heart procedure. He needs a surgery called a catheter ablation. If I'm saying it right, I really hope I am. If not, then I'll have to correct myself down at the bottom of the screen. But I think that is what it is called. I am pretty positive. It is pretty much, as far as I understand it, I'm not in the medical field, but as far as I understand it, they put catheters in a few different places, and they have to use an electric current. They create scar tissue on your heart so that it won't go out of rhythm. It will stop going out of rhythm. So Joshua was diagnosed with AFib about 7 years ago, because Tristan was about 2 weeks old when he got the official diagnosis. His dad had heart issues as well, and so he had always kind of felt like that's what was wrong. He had done a lot of research and he thought it was something to do with that, like he had a heart issue as well, but he wasn't positive that that's what that he had a heart issue for sure, until he was at work and he started having like a lot of heart palpitations and a lot of heart fluttering and a lot of heart pounding and a lot of heart issues. It started making him feel really crazy, like anxious and like hyperventilating almost, and like it was just pounding out of his chest and hurting. And so when it started really hurting him, it was making him extremely worried, obviously. His blood pressure shot through the roof. His face was blood red. His neck was blood red. He was really hot. And his employer like took him to the hospital, made him go to the hospital. So he did. And they put him in ICU. If you've been with me for a super long time, you might have heard me tell this story, but it was way before I had done a channel that this happened. Like, again, Tristan was only like 2 weeks old, 3 weeks at the most, but I'm pretty positive it was only like 2. He was brand spanking new, and I couldn't go with him to the hospital. And so, of course, a new mom just having a baby, and now your husband's in ICU with heart issues, like it was really scary. And I know it was super scary for him as well. And they put him on medication through his IV drip, and they were trying all of these different things to get him to calm down and to stop his heart from pounding out of his chest, and to bring his blood pressure down, and all of those things. And hours and hours they kept trying to get his heart rate back to where it was supposed to be, and his blood pressure down. They got his blood pressure down, but his heart just would not go into rhythm. And so they almost shocked him with the paddles and everything. They almost did that. But when the doctor was about to come down to explain the procedure and get him ready to go, because you do have to be put to sleep and all of that for them to shock you. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be like alert when they, shock you with bolts of electricity through your chest. So when he was about to come down and explain everything, I don't know if it was like Joshua being super anxious and that just kind of helped it along, and made his heart like freak out or whatever, and that sped it along, like, oh no, you ain't doing that. But his heart did go back into rhythm. And then not too long ago, I don't know, about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, it's longer than that, but time just goes by so quickly. So it's probably been, he's probably going to be like, no, Ashley, and correct me, but it's been a few months ago. Let's just say a few, because it's been a few. But a few months ago, it happened again. He had told me that he was having issues with his chest again all day long. It makes him feel really crappy. when his heart goes out of rhythm, and it's went out of rhythm multiple times since then, but not bad enough for him, and it's not lasted long enough for him to go into the hospital. It always will, it'll do it for a few hours and it makes him really drained. It sounds and like you can see his heart just pounding out of his chest for no reason, like with him just sitting and doing nothing. It pounds and comes out of his chest. It beats very irregular. So if you're not familiar with AFib, it will be like just completely irregular, makes no sense. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's super fast, and it's always hard and beating out of his chest. And so, honestly, and he told me this the other day, and it makes me want to cry because it's so sad. Like, he's lived in fear and nervousness that anytime he does any kind of physical or strenuous activity that makes his heart beat fast, or hard on its own, just from normal everyday things, that he's nervous that it's going to go back into a regular rhythm. And so, a few months ago it did, and it wouldn't stop. He told me that it was really hurting him. His blood pressure was really high. He was having like anxiety attacks because his blood pressure is just on high and his heart's beating crazy the whole time. He stayed all day at work and it was just doing it. And again, his employer like forced him to go to the hospital, and so that's what he did. When he went to the hospital, I couldn't go with him because I had nobody to come and stay with the boys, and they admitted him and they kept him, and I was terrified and I didn't know what in the world to do. It was scary and awful. And I thought, oh God, here we go again. So first thing in the morning, I got my parents to come and get the boys, and they came and picked them up, and I went to the hospital, and he was just not in a good state. He was very anxious. He felt trapped. He was very worried and nervous, and he had been alone the entire time, and it was just awful. It was really, really awful. He was just like a caged animal. It was really hard for me to calm him down, and his heart just would not. It would not go back into rhythm. So again, they tried all the medications, they tried all of the things. They said that when he got there, he was lucky to be alive because his blood pressure was so high. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was ridiculous. They were baffled that he was he was then, I think this was before his 29th birthday, but anyway, he's 29. He's under 30 and he's having these issues. Most of the time when they have these kind of AFib patients like he is, they're older, like older. And so the wing of the hospital that they put him in, it was all elderly people, and then he was 29. And you just don't see that. The stage that he is in with AFib and AFib that he has at this point where he's out with it, it's just not common for people his age. It's just not. And so they tried and tried and tried. We were there for hours, and finally they were like, honey, like, there's nothing we can do. Your heart is not going to go back into rhythm unless we shock you. Like, that's what we have to do now, which was terrifying. I had a Lark with me because it was a few months ago, and now that I think about it, it was a while back because he was, still drinking milk regularly all throughout the day. It was before he was on solid, so it was a few months ago for sure. But time just passes so quickly. But I had him and we were there all day, and he was being so good and well behaved, but we were worried and we were anxious, and I was just trying to keep him calm because he was super anxious and he was terrified, of course, about being shocked, and that's just scary. It's a really scary thing. That's something that you do in a very emergent situation, and you don't really want them to just do that to you. So they took him and they put him to sleep, and they did shock his heart. It went back into rhythm, and then the doctor came and spoke to us and talked to us about all the things that needed to happen after. He said that his concern was obviously his blood pressure. Joshua, with his blood pressure doing that and his heart going out of rhythm like it does, he's at high risk for stroke. when that happens. And so it's very scary. He got put on heart medication that he's been taking since then, twice a day. He has to take aspirin because of the blood thinner. Um, he and he has to watch his heart. So 5,000 times. If it's one, it's 5,000 times. I can't tell you how many times he's like, Ashley, please listen to my heart. Just tell me it's not doing that. Because he's scared about it. I mean, this is a very scary and serious thing, especially with the way his body reacts to it, especially with like how bad he deals with it and the age that he is at. The doctor doesn't want him to be on medication this early in his life. It's not a long-term solution because he doesn't need to be on the medication. And with all the blood work, all the tests that we have ran, the doctor is saying that there's not outside things that are causing his AFib, which can sometimes happen. You know, there's things that you do that can trigger it, and outside things if you have sleep apnea, if you do this, or this. Like sometimes outside things can cause your AFib, or sometimes it's just something you have and you're not getting rid of it. You can't take care of the outside things and then it not come back. And that's what we've been ruling out all these months. He's been continuing to go to the doctor and get it all checked out, and that's not what it is. It's just something that he has, and it's not going to go away. For the past about 2 to 3 months, he has been dealing with the doctors and going to see different ones and not telling me what they've been saying, just kind of glossing over things because that's what he does. He doesn't want me to worry, and he's been trying everything he possibly can, but the doctor is suggesting that he thinks that the solution to Joshua's AFib, especially with him being as young as he is to have this procedure. It's kind of scary. I was against it at first, but when I heard that, the doctor saying that that is the solution for this, that he really believes that this will, if not fix it forever, really be a very long-term solution and we won't have these issues anymore. And he's saying he needs the surgery. What he's afraid of is extremely high blood pressure, stroke. He's afraid of, heart attack. These are all risks that could happen if Joshua's heart can't be put back into rhythm. And he is nervous that, shocking him worked this time. But the first time, they almost had to shock him. Then at the very last second, his heart went back into rhythm. The second time, it would not go into rhythm. He had to be shocked. The third time, he's just worried with it progressing this way and him having this difficulty with it that he won't be able to be shocked and it won't go back into rhythm. Or they will shock him, it will go back into rhythm and fall right back out again, because that's the fear. The fear is 24 hours after you get shocked, within that 24-hour span, your heart might slip right back out of rhythm and here we go again. And it might not be able to be put back. And that's what they're afraid of. And once that happens, it's very, very difficult to reverse it. And with Joshua's blood pressure the way it is and all of those risks, it's very, very risky for that to happen to him. And I know I'm really long-winded and I don't mean to just keep talking and talking. I've been talking for 13 minutes and I didn't mean to do that. But the bottom line is he needs the surgery. Bottom line is our insurance won't cover it. They still look at this surgery as an experimental surgery. It's not something that it's written in the books and this is just a everyday kind of thing, even though they have seen extreme success results, especially with someone in Joshua's case, with this surgery. It's still considered to be experimental, and it's also considered to be a preventative surgery to where the insurance just won't cover it. They won't do it because it's still experimental and whatever. Honestly, that's just so frustrating and irritating, the things that they won't cover, but they won't. We've gotten different opinions. We have gotten his doctor to, try to work with the insurance company, because sometimes if you push for it, your doctor pushes for it with the insurance company every now and then, that could help. It's not helped. He has been on the phone with Huntsville Hospital and every other, financial place and insurance place and things like that, trying to kind of, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? Are we sure this won't cover it? Are we sure there's nothing that we can do to make them cover it? Blah, 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 blah. And it's just not. We've hit brick walls every single time. And he's been dealing with this for months, without me knowing about it. Um, and so we can't we can't afford it, and he needs it, and he needs it the sooner the better, because he needs off this medicine, and he's 29 years old, and we need him for a very long time. And this is just not a long-term solution. We need a solution. And so we have set up a GoFundMe account for this surgery. It's about $25,000 with all of it said and done. Everything wrapped up in a neat little bow. $25,000 will do the job, and we have set up this GoFundMe account for that. We're not those kind of people who ask for money or ask for things, and so it's very, very difficult to do so. We're prideful in that way, so it can be very difficult. I was always taught you don't ask anybody for anything, and that's kind of the way I live my life. That's how I feel. I don't ask people for anything ever. And you guys know I don't ask you guys for gifts or happy mail or friend mail or any of that. I don't ask for things because I don't think that I do this channel to give to people and to have community. But we need help, and we need this surgery. And so I'm doing this video because I'm asking you if you can help to go to the site, the GoFundMe site, and to read about it. And if you feel led to help, then please help. If you can't, that's perfectly okay. But please share it. Share it everywhere. I don't know. I need my husband, and my babies need their dad, and I want this to be okay. I want it to stop being a nightmare. And it's just getting worse. It's not getting better, and so it's scary. So anyway, I wanted to get on here and do this video for that, and I wanted to kind of explain what it is that you're doing instead of just getting on here and saying, hey, guess what? We set up this GoFundMe. How about going to it? And I wanted to let you know why and what's going on. And that's kind of what's been going on in our life. Our life has been kind of crazy and chaotic lately, and that's just one of the things. And so your prayers are very, very appreciated. And if you can help in any way or share it, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know that he would as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you in advance for sharing it. And I will see you guys in the next video. And I will also keep you updated on what's going on. Thank you guys. Love you so much. Bye.